All right, Kurt, I hope this is working out. You asked for a demonstration of what Elite Dangerous is like. I have Elite Dangerous, and it's the Horizons version. Only difference in the Horizons version, which pretty much everyone plays now, is that I can land on atmosphere-less planets and moons, but we'll talk about that a bit later. Here you see my ship. It's an ASP Explorer sitting outside of a Class F star, or Sun. Really, this is the demo I sent you is actually how it is. It is a graphically intense game, takes a little bit of planning, but this is my ship, an Asp, sitting out there. I've, through trading and different things throughout the game and the mechanics, from combat to whatnot, I've bought this. This is my favorite ship for doing long distance travel, meaning, outside of 1,000 light years. On this spacecraft, I can carry cargo, personnel. Um, I can just explore, gathering data. I can also combat load, which I can do, but it's a give and take for each one. Some are better at long distance, some are better at combat for tight maneuverability. So here's the ship here, and actually here's where I usually sit. You're going to have a view from inside. There's my little corpse there. Sitting in the chair. This gives you about the size and the scale of the ship. It's capable of 3 different speed settings, impulse power, and you'll see that's between from docking and doing dogfighting within a certain area to a light speed that I get around the solar system, and then I go into what's called a um, shifting into the drive, and the drive gets you pretty much a wormhole, so I can go between solar system to solar system, and that'll make sense when we see it in a little bit here. But I just wanted to kind of spin around this and get you a view here. Yes, there is a seat down there, but it's not occupied at this point. The game has not introduced crew members yet, so it's not a big deal. It doesn't impact anything, but it's there. And it's also, I've got the capability of carrying when I land. I've got a small rover that I deploy from there that I can sit in and collect materials on different star systems. All right, let's go inside this spaceship here in the seat that you're seeing there, and we'll start doing a quick tutorial that way here. There I am sitting inside the seat that you just talked about. I'm going to switch on my head motion software. So right now, it follows my head where I look. I think that's pretty important for this game here. You can do it without it. I can use the mouse, of course. I mean the hat symbol on my joystick. But this is pretty much me sitting here. Got the throttle on the left, joystick on the right. Straight ahead is my imagery map I can zoom in and zoom out with. To the right is the status of my ship with the gold rings around it, meaning my force field, or excuse me, my shields. To the left is my target. Right now it's just showing a planetary solar system, or correct. And then I've got views to the left. I look over here, and it's pretty in depth, but I've got my navigation way. So, for example, on the far left side here, it says 11 jumps. Excuse me, let me go back over to this. 11 jumps to WIRD. That's my destination. I need to get back to a system over there. It tells me the next jump is 25.4 light years, and off and on we go. I can do different things, different transactions that I've got in there, and different contacts. There's nothing in range right now. You can tell, just excuse me, as we're looking, we're rotating around the sun. We're starting to spin. But anyway, so I look at there, and I look also on my far right side. It tells me my combat rank, where I rank up between different factions from Federation to Empire to Alliance. I was in the Federation for a while. It's interesting. It allowed me to get some certain ships. Now I've moved over to Alliance and trying to build that up. Really not a big deal. It's just something you stick with, and it helps you boost you through for points. And then different modules, inventory, and stuff like this. Now if we look straight ahead, I'm going to go into what's called the galaxy map. Galaxy map comes up here, and you can tell I am in the lower right hand corner with my mouse here. My next jump again is 25.36 light years away, as you can tell right there. All right, doesn't look like anyone's been to it yet because the solar system is not highlighted there. Normally I can click in it if somebody's been there and explored it already. If you go to different stars, I can click on any different star here, and it shows me where, oh, it's been exploited by somebody. Here's the location, it's 71 light years away, and actually now I can click on this. So let's go look at this star. This star, like most of them, have planets around them. Some have lots, some have just a few, and some have absolutely none. So as this gets pulled up here to take a look, this has quite a few. So I've got 3 suns to this. The primary sun is what we always jump into here. And from that sun, this distance to this planet here, this planet is 51.21 light seconds away. By looking at the blue symbol there, it tells me I can land on it, and it also tells me there's a structure on the surface that I can go to, a docking point, a factory, whatever it may be, part of the game. And it also says all these symbols are orbiting spaceports. Here's Kutcher Port, that's Phillips Dock, and that's Haya Dock. Haya Dock, that's funny. And then it's got planets on it. Furthest planet away on this sun right here is 437 light seconds away. The furthest one away is out here at 153,000 light seconds away. It's going to take me a while to get out there if I want to. And I can tell people have discovered these planets here. They've stopped at it, so they've got some names on it and whatnot, but it's very far away. There's really no incentive or reason for me to go out here. I can, but I just choose not to. This is just one stopping point on my way around. So as I zoom into one of these planets here, okay, if I look on the right side here, it's going to tell me it's a democracy, what they have, if there's any type of different factions or wars in it, because that's important when I try to find stuff for trade. I zoom into this here, it tells me it's a high metal content world made up of 67% rock, 32% metal. Here's all the different elements that are on that planet and the percentages they are. That's important because when I go out and about, I need certain things to upgrade my ship. I need to pick the right planet to look at it. Okay, it's tidally locked, doesn't rotate. And there we go. It's also got, if I click here, I'm going to click into the plane. There's a surface port. I can't even pronounce it, some French port. It tells me what they're about. They've got these facilities here on the left. They import these items and they export these items. That also becomes important when you're trying to get money. So I deliver certain things to them in high demand, I get good payment. If not, and if I mess it up, I'll get negative credits. They don't need, extra widgets if they make widgets themselves. So it's a huge economy throughout the solar system, or through this solar system and through the galaxy as well. So let's go back out now. And now that was just one star we talked about there. My final destination is right. I'm going upwards north, if you want to call it. See, it's in 3 dimensions. Okay, I'm heading over here. This distance is 232 light years away. That's where I'm heading to right now. It's going to take me a number of jumps to get out there at about 26.10 light years max per jump. Okay, so again, any one of these stars you can absolutely visit and see what it's made up of. Okay, so how big is this, and have people discovered everything? Well, there's quite a few stars out there. Again, but if I keep zooming out, and again, this is in 3 dimensions. This is the actual our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy. So you have constellations, you have the Pleiades Nebula. If I zoom in right here, there's the Pleiades. Okay, you can go out to these. They're actual locations. Again, it's a lot of the stars are made up as well because we haven't seen every single star out there. But let's again zoom out for effect. If I zoom all the way out here, every single star, to include these gas areas, when you zoom in, are all stars you can visit that have planets and different resources on it. Here's our Milky Way galaxy. Now, inhabited space occupies about this region right here. And in fact, if I go to this location, I go to power play. Let me look at power play here, and boop doop 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 doop. If I remember how to do it, friend marker. Okay, this is the power play. It's going to zoom in. This is where occupied space is, where I can do trading and whatnot. Outside this region, out far, there's not much. There are a few outside locations, but this is where most inhabited space is. In fact, if I wanted to go to a place called this, to Sol, I could do that. So here's a place called Sol, which is actually our solar system. Oops. Get on that. Let's zoom in onto this. And this is where you'd see the planet Earth, Moon, Mars, everything like that. Again, this takes place way in the future, so they've actually terraformed Mars. But here's our sun. There's Mercury, Venus, Earth. Hey, look at that, Mars. It's kind of terraformed. It's got stations around it, to include around the Moon. and the different planets in the solar system. Okay, this one right here, Triton off the planet Neptune, is at war. I could see some red there, so it may be quarantined or at war. I don't know. I have to research that. But again, let's go back here. Let's take a look at this. So everything here you can visit. How intense is this? Has everyone found it? Let's go to the middle of the galaxy here, which you can actually visit after a massive undertaking. It's a very sensitive mouse. But as you can tell, look at it. Endless stars to go through. Okay? There is so many. And the farthest I've gone away is about 2,000 light years away from the Earth area. So, and it took me days and days and days. It's a little excessive. Okay? Let's go back to this. I've already got my location. I'm going to do one quick jump, and then I'm going to cut away when I start to approach the station next. So I turn this up. You can say my location that I'm going to next. I'm on impulse power. I'm going to line up to right there. Next jump is 25.4 light years. Now I'm going into what's called the frame shift drive. This will take me pretty much just through a wormhole. So it creates a wormhole with the amount of fuel that you have and the weight. And each of that comes together to determine my farthest jump I could do is about 26 light years between stars. If you're fully loaded, maybe about 20 light years. It all is a give or take. Now, how do you fill up for gas? Well, for a lot of this, I have a fuel scoop. When I get close to a sun here, when I stop and approach a sun, I'm going to go around it for a certain point to try to fill up my fuel on the right-hand side. That takes a little bit of close flying because you don't want to burn up. I've got to balance it between my temperature and the ability to collect more and more of the plasma energy. So here as we go is approaching this star. Oh, approached it there. My next location is right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a lateral slide. Slow it down. I've discovered 6 new objects. Increasing speed. As you can tell, my fuel is moving up on the right. I did what's called honking the planets. I used sent out a burst of energy, try to see what other planets are out there. I discovered 8 additional new objects. So if I was to go into my map view here, let's look at the solar system that I'm currently at. This is where I just landed. Okay, it was discovered years ago by a guy named Fractal, but I just was able to put it onto my map and telling me that there's certain locations here. So it just discovered for me these planets. All been visited for, but now I've got it cataloged in my system, and I'll get points and cash for this when I get back. Okay, let's do one more jump. Now this star here on the upper right says jumping to 5 Fornicus star class A. Should be a little bright star. So let's do this last jump here. Remember, there's also bad factions here too, so you have to always be ready that someone may try to intercept you, especially if you have cargo. If you have cargo, they have sensors to try to figure out what you got, and they'll try to take over your ship and get your cargo, destroying it in the process. Hence, you could do that with somebody else if you wanted to too. I choose to usually run and get out of there. Oh, there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate around. I'm going to pull up underneath this star, and I'm going to scoop this way. See, I try to keep it even so I don't burn up. I got to watch my temperature and fuel amounts, slowing my speed. I'm going to cruise around the sun a little bit until I get some more energy. It's quite a large one. Okay, I'm filling up nicely. Temperature's staying decent. Okay, now I'm going to circle back and pull up. Increasing speed to my next jump. Alright, I'm going to stop here, get to the location, and we'll talk as I get ready to approach the space dock, and we'll see what we got. Hey, see you in a bit.